Okay, it's Mig here. So doing another Sur Ron Light Bee video. So I'm having a race. We're gonna race this bike for. Okay, no, I can't say that. I've already raced this bike in a race, but I haven't posted it on the internet yet. I did a supermoto race with this bike, and we did horrible. But anyway, that's besides the point. We're gonna race. This is the first time I'm gonna do a dirt race on this bike. And last week I put the dirt wheels back on it. I've had the supermoto wheels on it for like the longest time. And we went and I went to Metcalf Motorcycle Park where the race is going to be actually, and we ripped up on the trails a bit. And then when I came back, I tried to ride it as hard as I could on those trails. And when we came back, I noticed that the valve stem had. Well, actually, I didn't notice the valve stem had moved because it was tightened. So I'm going to show you that. Anyway, I got some stuff on my bike here, and we're going to install it before the race. Because it would suck to lose a race because you got a flat tire because you spun your valve stem. Okay. All right. So right here I got a rim lock. This is the main dealie we're going to be installing today. And then I got an extra tube here. And I heard something about like the tubes being kind of skinny on this bike. Like not skinny, but like they're kind of thin, the rubber. So we're going to install like a newer. Kind of thicker tube hopefully, and then we're going to use a thinner one as a spare tube because it's thinner, it's lighter, so it works out pretty good. So you get a stronger tube that resists punctures and flats more, and then you get a lighter one for backup. Hopefully you don't have to use it, but we've been using it just fine. All right, anyway, so yeah, a rim lock. So I want to talk about these guys. Okay, switch to first person. All right, so here I got a trackside Super Duty rim lock. It's a 1.6 inch. The funny thing is that the rim is a 1.4. If you look around here somewhere, there we go. It's a 1.4, but you can supposedly use a 1.6 on this, so I guess it should be okay. Yeah, that's the smallest size I could find. There's nothing smaller than this one that I could find at my local motorcycle shop. I got this at Cycle Gear is where I got it. So this is the same rim lock that I use on this bike, my DR650, and it works fine. And you know, one of the things I thought about on the Sur Ron Light Bee when I first got it is like, does this thing need a rim lock? You know, because most dirt bikes come with rim locks from the factory. So my Kawasaki KLX 140 has a rim lock from the factory stock, so it's right here. So you can see it sticking out here. It just looks like a kind of like a bolt sticking out with a nut on it. That's the rim lock right there, and this is your valve stem right here. So what you want to do, so the problem with the reason we use rim locks is so it locks the tire onto the rim, so you don't spin the tube. So if you look at, so this is after we came back, I checked this. If you look at the valve stem, it's really crooked, and that is evidence that you are spinning your valve stem. So pretty much, I almost cut this, ripped this valve stem off. So what happens when you run low tire pressure, like you want to run off road? I was running 15 psi. You know, that's how much I run. That's how much the spec is for the Kawasaki KLX, and that's how much I run on this one. So yeah, so yeah, but you couldn't tell it was crooked like that until you loosen this. So what you want to do on these tube rims, let's take the valve stem off. What you want to do on these tube rims is loosen this nut here. Don't have it tight. You don't really need to have it tight. Yeah, boy, it's moving a whole lot. I think I rode it today and I made it even worse. So This 62 sprocket, it has so much torque, it will rip that valve stem right off. I do a lot of, you know, kind of wheelies and popping up over stuff and jumps and stuff, and it's stuff where, like, you know, you just have to blip the throttle real quick to get the front off up and stuff, and that creates a lot of torque on the wheel. And so basically what's happening here is the rim is trying to spin independent of the tire. So as you can see here, so the drivetrain goes this way, right? The chain goes that way. So it's trying to pull the rim going that way, and it's pulling the valve stem while it's doing it. You don't have this problem with tubeless rims, yeah, because it doesn't really matter. There's no tube in there, but basically you're pulling the rim is slipping on the tire, and then at some point it's just gonna rip this right off. Whoa, that is really loose. That is no bueno. I have to tighten that. Okay, it's like we're gonna have to do a spoke tightening party. Listen, these, holy crap, these are really loose. All right, I remember wow, what the heck? All right, that's no bueno. So I guess before we race, we're gonna have to tighten our spokes too, because they're like all freaking loose. Anyway, the purpose of this video is to install this rim lock. So by installing this, it puts pressure on the bead onto the rim, and then you can run lower tire pressures and you'll have better traction. So, and I don't see any problem running low tire pressures on the Light Bee, because it's such a light bike. You know, you're not really gonna bend the rim, because you're not crashing into stuff. Maybe if you're riding in a lot of rocks, maybe you want to increase your tire pressure a little bit. But I run 15 on this, and I run 15 on the KLX, and it's fine because the bikes they're so light. Anyway, so yeah, so that is the purpose of today's video. We'll be installing a rim lock on the Light Bee. If you have a bigger sprocket that, you know, gives you more torque and stuff, I highly suggest you install one of these. But you can't tell unless you move the nut out like that. So you see how this one is straight? That's not how that's how it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to be straight. So on the front, you can spin the front, but it's kind of rare. The only way you could spin the front is if you brake really hard, and then the rim slips on the wheel. So, but the rear is the one that you want to have it on. So like my KLX, it doesn't have one on the front. See, there's none on the front, only on the back. So the back is the one that you want it on. And like I said, it's just this thing has like so much torque that it's not very fast going up the hills and stuff, but it's got plenty of torque to get over obstacles and stuff. So and that's the reason, like, it's trying to spin on the rim. When you use a lot of that power, like sudden bursts of power, to get like the front up over stuff, it's putting a lot of torque on the wheel. So we're gonna go install this guy. These are about like $10-12 at especially it's small ones. So. And then we're gonna install this too. So this is my first time actually working with the tires. So to install the rim lock, we're gonna have to take the tire off, unfortunately. So so we should just hop to it. But let's see. Let me go get it myself here. Yeah, so what you're gonna want to do. Crikey, it got even worse. Look at how crooked it is. So there is a way that you can straighten this. You can take the air out and then maybe try to move the tire on the rim, or you can keep on inflating it and deflating it, and hopefully it straightens, the tube straightens itself out in there. But we're just gonna take it out and we're gonna put the rim lock. And I'm gonna show you how to do that on the Sur Ron Light Bee. All right. Here's my cup. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, I bought that other tube for about $12 also, so it's a good deal. I got both of these at Cycle Gear. Can you get it at a bicycle shop? Yeah, you might be able to get it at a bicycle shop. A lot of bicycles use kind of wide wheels nowadays, so you might be able to get this at a bicycle shop. But I know these tubes are pretty good. These are what the other tubes. Okay, so I wanted to point out, like, yeah, usually dirt bikes have rim locks, but like dual sports and adventure bikes usually don't have them. One, because some adventure bikes come with tubeless rims, and two, adventure bikes run higher tire pressure. When you run lower tire pressures is when you're going to want rim locks. And we're only running like 15, and it's spinning it, so it's spinning it pretty bad. And I'd like to point out, like, yeah, if you're going to run off-road tire pressures, like 15 is totally fine on riding on the Light Bee. If you run maybe like upwards of like 20, like more than 20 psi, maybe like 25 or something, you'll be okay. You don't really need a rim lock. If you're not planning to go up like really steep hills or ride really rough trails, you probably don't need a rim lock. But if you are doing what Hayes Omega is doing and riding it really hard, you know, going up and down obstacles and going up steep hills and stuff, yeah, you're gonna want a rim lock. That's what I had wondered when I first got the bike. Does this bike need a rim lock? And that's the answer right there. That's your answer right there. It almost ripped that valve stem off. So and then you would be stuck on the side of the road with a flat tire because your tube will not hold air anymore. And there's no way to repair that tube either. Also, if you rip the valve stem, there's no way to repair it. Can't be done. It's not like your typical puncture. So yeah. So I highly suggest, if you're gonna do any kind of vigorous off-road riding, that you have a rim lock installed, at least on the rear. All right, let's get to it.